Good morning, Bernie.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Thank you. There we go. I'm
Fantastic.
on.
It's you nice and clear. So here is a good evening, right? In Australia?
Yeah, it's evening here.
All right. So let's start this interview. First thing, I will introduce myself. My name is Oriol Cotell-Llamont. I'm the product director for Gemvision. And I'm happy today to interview one of our best users in CounterSketch, Bernie Santen. He's from Australia, Melbourne, and actually he won the first Gemvision contest that it happened 2 weeks ago with a very nice pair of earrings using a big pearl. So today we have him here so we can know a bit more about him, his experience in the jewelry business, and how CounterSketch had helped him in his business. So Bernie, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your career.
Well, yes, I'm happy to. I'm actually, I do now work on CounterSketch a lot on the computer, but most of my career was at the bench. 49 years, 10 months ago, so nearly 50 years. I started when I was 10. No, I started when I was 15. And yeah, I was actually very fortunate that I had an apprenticeship with some fantastic jewelers, which set me a good grounding for making jewelry for the rest of my life, basically. My boss was a Cartier designer who came to Australia and set himself up a company, and he imported one of the top jewelers from George Jensen in Denmark. So I was their apprentice, and I was so fortunate to be learning under a master designer who could design anything. His drawings looked like photographs. And our foreman was Fleming Norcock, who could actually make the pieces. And I got taught how to do all that. And design has always been a major cornerstone of my personal goals and ambitions when I'm making jewelry. So I was lucky to get to do a lot of the jewelry during the 70s. So that's when sort of design was crazy and you could let your hair go and anything went basically, and it was all about the design. And nowadays it's also showing off the stones, but that wasn't as important back then. So it was good. And then for the last 40 years I've been in my own business and had one shop, then I had two shops, and I had been doing that for till 2017. And
wow.
And we had a very busy shop. We had lots of jewelers, lots of sales team, and it kept me very busy. And we found ourselves unique because we started CounterSketch way back when it first started, and it's brilliant. That was not in the back room; it was right in the front shop at a desk that was solely devoted for that. We bought models from Stella, and that was just, people thought we were amazing, and and that we could actually develop something right in front of their face. And all the staff got quite proficient at it, and I've sort of kept up with CounterSketch. I haven't taken the deep step into Matrix. It's like very complicated. I've had a little dabble in it, and it's like, oh my God, it's too hard. But CounterSketch, and it's getting better, CounterSketch, with all the add-ons and with each progress. And there's something exciting coming up next year, which I'm looking forward to, with some big changes in it. So yes, so
well,
that's me basically.
No, and it's good because this is one of these cases that we really like to have as a testimonial, because this is what CounterSketch is meant for. I mean, CounterSketch is a software that, as you said, it's easier, it's easier than Matrix Hall, But at the same time, sometimes the people think, well, you know, but it's limited because you have only these libraries. But once we introduce the freehand parts, the designs that we see in CounterSketch coming, in Stellar coming from CounterSketch are amazing. So once you get deep into CounterSketch, what you can accomplish with this software, it's amazing. So of course that you cannot go as crazy as you can with Matrix Hall. This is the reason why there is people who's choosing Matrix Hall. But on the other side, now with as I said, with the freehand parts, using a base from the library or either just going with the freehand parts, you can accomplish any model that you want. And it's more the design that you, the kind of design that you do with CounterSketch is more assembling different parts. And instead in Matrix Hall is more starting from just a curve and from there growing the model.
As a jeweler though, that's what I was taught to do. Get a bar of gold, shape it, make a piece, get another bar, another piece, put them together, weld them together. And I actually, when I do freehand, I sort of am doing what I do at the bench, but just on the screen, and if you have a look at that piece that I won the competition with, there is nothing on there that you could sort of say, hey, that's straight out of a library. It's all freehand
parts.
Pieces, and that shows that CounterSketch can, let you do pretty much anything you need.
And I'm super happy listening this, Bernie, because the first thing that for us is a challenge, getting jewelers that has been working in the bench, make them work on the computer, and it's a challenge for anyone. I mean, it's totally different. The environment is totally different from what people is used to. Then listening to you saying, this is what I do in the bench, but now I can do it in the computer. This is what we need to show to our customers, so that the customer doesn't need to worry about what do we do on the background, all the code that we need to put in these softwares. But it's very, very important for us that the customer, once they use our software, they can imagine the bench, but in the screen. And actually what you have defined, it's very, very good for us. And also I think that is important what you were saying about your experience in the bench, because yeah, you can put parts together, but of course that you need to know the thickness that you can put there and how are you gonna get all these pieces together, because today is so easy with these softwares to get these pieces and move them on the screen and just attach to each other. But at the end of the day, this needs to be produced. So having skills on the bench, I believe that helps a lot on getting the right result.
It does. And as I say, I actually find that the difference is that I often tell people that with the CounterSketch, it just makes me have one more tool in my tool belt as a jeweler. It's not, you see many places, people that will, how do you say it? I've seen many debates that, CAD's not handmade and, people should be doing handmade versus CAD and things like that. But, like I can set and I can engrave and I can, melt gold and I can do this and that and the other. And I also can use the CounterSketch. So it's just one more tool. And some of the very fine things where I can do beautiful scroll backing, like do a whole cutout of a ring, and for a sleeve they'll just go in the ring and it looks like it's all pierced out, and it only took me 5 minutes on CAD. It makes me look very clever.
No, and you can accomplish things that before by hand was almost impossible to accomplish.
Oh, yes,
so yes. And look, as I told you yesterday when we had a chat for today meeting, when I came here in Australia, the people wasn't using that much CAD software. And as you said, the people were saying, well, by hand. When I left Australia after 4 years, just in these 4 years, the change that the people and the jewelers did about thinking about CAD software was amazing. Once they start to use it, they said, this is, as you said, this is one more tool that we need in our bench.
It has taken a lot of time and effort to get jewelers to use technology, taking them from, off their benches and just doing the way they've been doing it in the 50s and 60s and 70s to doing new things, So some jewelers won't even have a fax machine, but then when I've got friends that have been in the trade as long as myself, 50 years, and some of them still, won't do anything, that, unless they can hand make it at the bench, and not because they don't, they just, I think they're a little bit frightened of the technology, but that's the older people. The new age has really embraced it, it's good to see, and
yes.
And looking at some of the designs on some of the forums, there's some amazing work that the young people, the designs that are coming out these days is just fantastic. Everyone's feeding off everyone else's ideas as well. So,
But still, you know what, Bernie, and I totally agree with you. For people who wasn't used as the young people today with the computers and this technology, was hard for them to get from the bench to the CAD software. Instead, for the young people, it's easier today. But on the other side, there is many young people that doesn't have the skills that you can have in the bench. So it's always a balance. And yeah,
yes, absolutely. That is, I do see that, unfortunately, and there's a lot of YouTube learning and things like that. And in all honesty, I did 4 years apprenticeship, and then I still stayed on 3 more years with this team, and until they split up, because I was learning and learning and learning. And then I actually went on to another master jeweler that was just as good as them, and for another few years. And so I had like 10 years of, and I was just learning off these amazing masters that could do anything, get a bar of gold and make the world, and that's what you should be able to do, and that's helped me with my designing and with the CounterSketch.
For sure. And I have to tell you that from my time in Australia, I found out that there is very good jewelers in Australia. So this was one of the things that I kept for me, that I thought when I'm just traveling around the world, I'm always saying that in Australia there is very good skills on jewelry bench, very good skills. And something also that was funny for me in Australia, it is actually where I discovered CounterSketch. So I didn't know about CounterSketch when I moved to Australia. And so one time I had to visit Anthony Nolan, actually, his shop in Brisbane. And there was where I know about CounterSketch. I never heard about it. And I remember that once I came out from Anthony's shop, I was thinking by myself, what an amazing thing, because I didn't know about it. And what Anthony showed me was CounterSketch and all the ever and ever display. So he was showing me, look, Oriol, here you have all these rings that we have these displays here, and then you can open CounterSketch and you have the same models in CounterSketch, and you can start to make modifications in front of your customer. And I was thinking, man, that's super cool. So the customer can have the piece in their hands, and you can make any modification based on the piece that you are showing them. So at least the customer, because we were talking about the jewelers, that is hard for them to go to the computer, but also for customers, sometimes it's not easy to imagine what are they going to get if you just show them what you are designing on the screen. So having all the ever and ever display to have it as a reference, I think that is also something that helps on that sale.
As I said, I stopped my shop back in 2017, but I didn't stop jewelry. I just stopped the 8 days a week work at the shop with all the other jewelers, and I migrated to a 2-person workshop where it's myself making the jewelry, which I get to make jewelry now all day long, and my daughter who sees the clients, and we have all the clients from the shop. So we are so busy now. And the beauty about it, instead of me supervising all the other jewelers, and I actually get to make it again. So it's wonderful. But
enjoying it again.
I've still got all the models from the shop. So people walk into my little consulting suite, and we have trays and trays of Stella models, and and pictures, and and hundreds and hundreds of sample rings and things to show them, so that as I say, that having the backup of the ever and ever range and all that is just, it's just, it's not, on the screen, it's great and it's magical, but to actually have a ring and try it on your finger and say, yeah, or actually, can it go a bit higher? And I'll say, highlight this one, put it on their finger. Yeah. Then I do it on the screen and, but on the screen, it's in their color and it's their stone that they've got or whatever. And, they feel like they're actually having, it's not just me being magic as well, but they're actually feeling like they're having a very distinct say in what they're getting. And if they were buying a dress, you don't just say, dressmaker, make me a dress, and I'll pick it up. They have fittings and they try them on and they'll say, make it a bit fluffy, puffier on the sleeves, add 3 buttons there. So people have a say in what they want to, fashion-wise, what they want to wear on their fingers and their dresses. So this actually satisfies that urge, and people, really love that.
And look, I think that we should use you, Bernie, as the person to sell our software, because you are defining just what, what we would like to happen with everyone who buys our software. And what you are defining is the total experience for the end customer. And I think that this is what they want to feel when they go into any jewelry store. They want to feel that they are designing their own jewelry. And I think that what you are explaining is exactly what the experience that you are providing to these customers. So they feel unique, that this is what all we want when we purchase anything. So they feel unique in front of you when you are designing something special for them. So I think that this is fantastic. And if you we're going to use you, as you said, as our influencer for CounterSketch.
Yeah, well, as I say, I'm been a big fan since the day I got it, and and the Stellar system, and everything. That whole process there is, I love it, and I embrace it and use it to as much as I can, and help me and my sales, and you guys at Gemvision and Stellar and everywhere sort of seem to know how important that is, and back us up to far beyond what we expect, which is brilliant.
Good.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So what do you think, Bernie? Do you want to share your screen and show us just a bit about what workflows do you use in front of your customers designing something, so we can see how to use CounterSketch?
Yeah, I guess I can do that. Now
I need to make you co-host, so let me just go there and make you co-host. So there you go. So now you can share your screen.
Share screen. Okay, so okay, so can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is my CounterSketch
yes
program, and you can see there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of tiles, which is
wow.
Lots and lots. I grabbed a couple things. Now, I guess that basically, I'll just, there we go. Oh, this is a crazy tree ring that I'm trying to do. That's
wow.
That's being very, very difficult.
Yeah, but this is what we were talking about, that with CounterSketch, some people sometimes they don't believe that you can end up doing these designs. Look at these earrings.
And it involves making lots of single little customized parts and then calling them back in as user parts, things like that. But I wonder if this one's going to work. Maybe not.
So you have all the projects here. Do you save them by customer, right?
Yeah, I have them on by customers, and this is one particular customer that's had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things done. This one here, oh, there we go. So you know, I specialize a lot in remodeling for my clients.
Okay.
You know, this here, let me just put it in. So you can sort of see this is, yeah, and then that can be cast in two parts. That's not finished yet, and
Okay.
there's still a lot of detailed work to go, you know, for me.
Wow.
And tidying up the settings and,
Yeah.
you know, getting that one there and shortening it and that.
Mm-hmm.
But I specialize in, you know, and then also the client can come in now and I can show them this picture and, you know, and render it and sort of say, and then show them a model and say, right, this one here is, you know, currently, you know, it's 8 mil high. You want it higher? Do you want it lower? And they can then, you know, and I can show them a real item. So this is ready for someone to come in and just have a play with it and see, if, you know, where we continue designing.
Yeah,
you know?
because from here, if you need to rise, just say rise the shank. You can go to the shank and just make the top part higher if you want. So
and that's a very crude, you know, just using some ready-made off the shelf Stella CounterSketch componentry to sort of come up with a, you know, a particular design. Now, I had one client who came in with like about 4 or 5 rings, and there was like one had a yellow diamond, one had a white diamond. They were both big diamonds, different cuts, different shapes, and she had some baguette rings, some round rings, and then she showed me a design that she liked that was made of entirely of baguettes and wanted that ring. So I actually,
wow, look at this.
and everything here is in CounterSketch. So, you know, this sort of shows what you can do, you know.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
This
love
actual
it.
ring here, you can see lots of little bits and pieces. I did it in platinum and then 18 karat yellow gold. And, you know, to set the diamonds differently in the different colors, because it was, you know, different cuts and, you know, just to show them off. And so the difference actually became a feature, you know.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Bernie, because if the customer is coming with all this amount of rings that you were saying, and then you can show this to them, as a customer experience, this is fantastic. Once they can see all that they brought to you and how did you put it together, I mean, I believe that is something that this customer for sure that will come back to your store.
Well, can I just, now I want to show you that ring again, just to, want to share, if I stop sharing for a second.
Yeah, you can, don't worry.
Stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to share this here. Oops. No,
wow.
That's, oh, hang on. Now, is that the photograph you're looking at?
Yes, yeah. We can see the photograph.
But there is the actual ring after I finished it.
Look at this.
And you can see, you know, we've got here the yellow diamond, and this is brilliant cut, and that's step cut. So they're even different cuts, you know. So that's sort of things, you know, that I do. And, you know, and again, it'd be just like sitting at the bench and making something. So, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, this is just the typical example, Bernie, where you are showing that with CounterSketch is not just limit to the libraries that we have. So
well, exactly. There's
the situation that you are telling us is a customer coming with different parts and pieces, and you put them all together with thanks to CounterSketch.
Yeah, I am hoping, you know, that people don't just look at a library, you know, maybe this will help, you know, that just don't look at a library that you can get with CounterSketch and say, oh, they're all just basic rings or some nice designs. There is nothing there like that, and that I made that entirely on the program. Yeah, so
no, it's amazing.
It's quite, you know.
And if I have to tell you, Bernie, if you ask me how it's easier to make this one by Matrix Wall or CounterSketch, probably I would say that CounterSketch is the right software to you. If I owned both of them. If I would have to make this ring, probably the way that you did it is smarter than if I have to do it in Matrix Wall.
I would not want to make that by hand.
No, that's for sure.
I'd much rather it, be done, even if I had to do it in 3 pieces with the rails off so I can clean it up better, or whatever, or just getting into those little holes, with some very fine ceramic, files,
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah, there's ways and means of making it look really nice. So,
Well, this is another thing that when all these softwares came out, the bench tools wasn't ready for all these castings that are coming out from these softwares today, because CAD software has become so popular. Also, the bench tools has changed in order to help you getting all these castings that you are designing in CAD software.
And the casting system, the quality of casting has just taken leaps and bounds. I think because us designers have coming out with much finer and more intricate designs. It's put challenges on all the casters everywhere around the world to come up where they can cast things that have got a 0.3 millimeter hole in it that's going to be heart shaped, if that's what you've designed, or whatever it is, So, but they are like, in Australia we've got quite a few casting companies, but not one of them, compares to Stellar, in its quality. They're just, and
well. And you know what, Bernie, for us, we know that this is very, very important. And if you look at the Stellar's factory, we don't have just one kind of printer or one kind of casting machines. We have plenty, because, when you are a small company, you cannot afford to have 3 different or 4 different printers, depending on what kind of pieces are you getting, because this machinery is expensive. But in Stellar, thanks to the volume that we get, so we have different printers, and every printer is used for different designs, because we know that the material, the printer, so each of them are different. So depending on what designs do we receive, then we use one technique or another to give, as you said, state-of-art results.
Yeah. Yeah. Must show you something. The design, the design that I won the award with.
Yes, the design contest.
Yes, I'll just show you. Can you see that?
There we go. Oh, I love to see that.
Yeah, there you go. It wasn't just a design on the screen.
Man, they are very nice. Hey, yeah. I love to see them. And you should send us some picture of this, because we are going to publish them, Bernie.
Okay, because they're my wife's now.
Oh, well.
She
okay,
gets
then
some award-winning earrings.
Then we will need to ask to your wife if we can publish her earrings.
And they are beautiful Pasquale pearls, which is very funny, because Pasquale are some of the best South Sea pearls in the world, and they come from West Australia here.
Yeah.
And I got these pearls from Stella.
So, now I was expecting to see, I went to West Australia and I bought them, but no, you bought them from Stellar.
So they went from Pasquale, Australia, all the way over to America, and then back to Melbourne here. So they're well-traveled pearls.
You see, this is showing that we look for all the sources that we have around the globe. So then we choose the best, and I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, Bernie.
I was amused with that one.
So look, we have been 30 minutes with this interview. I think that we don't need to go any longer. I think that we get a very, very good overview about how you use CounterSketch in your business and about your business. And man, I'm really, really happy to know this story, because it's something that we are looking for when we are making this software. So we're happy to know that it's helping you in your business, and that the way that you are using it, it's helping a lot. So
it is. It's a brilliant tool. Nothing compares to it anywhere, with what it can do and how, and the ease of operation. As I said, I'm not a CAD designer, and I've even had a look at the program that came with CounterSketch, Rhino. you know, and
Yes.
I went and did a couple YouTube, you know, and I was able to make a oval sphere. That was it. And that took so much work. I said, no, I'm going back to CounterSketch. I'm not going to even try and think of, you know.
And look, Bernie, honestly, that is Rhino. And yes, and Rhino, you can do whatever you want, because Rhino is a software that you can create even if you want a ship, a car, whatever you want. But our job as Gemvision is to make this software ready for jewelers. This is why you are buying either CounterSketch or Matrix Code, is to make it easier and just focusing on jewelry. Of course, that you can make it in Rhino, but it will take longer to learn it. It will take longer to design also. So even if you have to do the ring that you were showing us, the real picture, if you have to do it just in Rhino standalone, it will take much longer than what it took making it in CounterSketch. So anyway, Bernie, please send us the nice pictures of these earrings. We would love to.
Nice pictures. I could only send one for the competition entry, so I picked one, but I'll send you a few more.
That's fantastic. And as I said, I really enjoyed spending this time with you. And for sure that we will have more occasions to keep talking.
And as a big fan of it, I'm happy to talk about it because I love it so much.
And we need you. So we know that you are in the forum. So you are in the forum also commenting. This is one of the reasons that we came up with this forum. So thank you also for that, because at the end of the day, all your feedback, all that feedback from all our customers is what makes us improve the software. So thank you also for being always there.
And thank you again, Gemvision, for the competition and giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bernie. I leave you now that it's dinner time in Australia, and enjoy the rest of the day. And thank you for your time.
No worries. Thank you. See you later.
Thank you. Bye.
See you next year.
I hope that I see you sooner.
Okay. See you later.
Bye. Bye.